Alright guys, we are back with another little video tutorial. Sorry about the bump. On a fabric cup. So I was able to do 3 fabric cups out of this one other piece of fabric I had. So those came out well, so I figured I would try to do a little video on how I actually do one of these fabric cups, because they're really cool when they do come out well. So here we go. I have a 30-ounce skinny here, and what I've done is I've sanded this entire cup because we're going to go directly on steel since this color is nice and vibrant. Didn't need to spray paint it underneath. I'm going to go right on the steel with it. I sanded the bottom even though I'm not putting cloth on the bottom, but the bottom is going to have something else. So fabric all on the top, and we'll see if we can get this thing seamed up to where it's nice and clean, but it's pretty straightforward. So let's try to get to it. I think I just need some gloves. Might have been the only thing I didn't grab, but luckily I do have some close. I have some regular Mod Podge gloss. I think I got it from Joann's or Michael's when they have their coupon. I think I ended up getting this thing for like 13 or 14 bucks. I think it's like 35, maybe 17, because then we got half off or something like that. So, and then if you have big areas to do Mod Podge with, I highly suggest this little Mod Podge brush. Again, use the discount 50 or 60% at Michael's or Joann's, and like they say, about your own. So got that, got the Mod Podge, and we have our fabric. Ta-da! Nice and pretty, right? Colorful, vibrant. So what I'm gonna do is, first I'm just gonna trim. I'm gonna just trim this nice and clean. Try to have everything nice and sharp. If you're using an X-Acto knife during the project, get yourself a fresh, clean blade. If you're using a regular razor knife, I suggest the same as well. Like especially when you go and cut the fabric from around. Rain's pretty loud. I'm out in the garage, so get rid of that. Just dry fit it. Since we know we don't need all of this, so let's do this. Dry fit it on there. That way I know I can cut that line right there, going up. Scissors again. If you need to put a straight edge on there, you can. I'm going to try to use a straight edge later on in the project, and straight edge will probably be a ruler since it'll probably be just as long as the cup. That way we can cut our seam when we get to that part. Boom. We got all that excess pretty fabric left. As you can see, cover. Let's get rid of some of the excess up top. I'm trying to get rid of as much as possible. I'm going to cut a little on the bottom here, so I'm not worried about it going over the bottom. I actually want to come just a little under if I can, but let's go ahead and get the top cut. Figure out where a good spot is to cut that, and let's go just under one of the kings. I'm not sure which one that is, but let's go right under him. For that cut. Looks like it could possibly line up with that. Alright, boom. We got that. You can save that for like a little 15 ounce or a little wine cup or something. These fabric scraps work really well. So boom, we got our dry fit, we got our piece. Got a little bit of overlap, which is good. It's just a little stretchy, but that's totally good. So let's get some Mod Podge on this cup. And we'll get the fabric on there. We'll be doing a few layers of the Mod Podge, but we'll be letting it dry in between. Obviously, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch glue dry. So I'll pause you. But nice, generous coats is what I watched when I first did it, and that's what worked well. Don't want it to start going clear on you because you want to get your fabric on there while it's still nice and wet. Nice, good, generous coat. A little extra is okay, but little clumps or whatever, those are not, because those you will end up seeing in the fabric. Get those clumps out. Alright, let's get this on there, let's press it down there. Smooth it out, get it down on there. And just kind of smooth it as you roll. I mean, it literally goes on that easy, y'all. You just got to be really nice and delicate with it, smoothing out all your wrinkles as you go. And don't worry if the glue starts coming through the fabric. That's totally fine. Keep rolling that baby over and smoothing her out. Try to keep it in the frame. Gonna kind of smooth over the edge a little bit, just so it goes down over that edge. We're around to where we overlap, which is good. Let's see how much overlap we got. Not much, but you know what? What we'll do is end up going back with a straight edge as close as we can to that. And we'll cut it, that way it'll nice and meet up with each other. Alright, now I do want to secure this flap. So pull this back a little bit. Nice little generous amount again. Go under there where it's going to meet up, because we're going to let this dry really well, and then once we go back and cut it, that way we can peel back. I'm going to try not to wait long like I did last time I did it. Worked out okay, but I think I waited just a little too long. So let's get our overlap. overlap down, and then try to cut any way of that. If you can avoid tearing it like I was doing right there, just try to lift up and cut it. But like I said, we're going to go as close as we can to that edge with a straight on the inside of there, and we'll get the X-Acto or my razor knife and we'll go down and cut it. But I want to get this layer on here dry first. So what we will do is let this dry for, I'll probably, you know what, I'm going to let it dry for a couple hours, and then I'm going to come and make that cut, and then I'm going to try to get it just to butt together. So, but it's nice and it's on. And I like the way that first layer went down. I mean, it's really nice and smooth, guys. You can see how smooth it is. And that's just one little layer of Mod Podge. So you want to let this layer of Mod Podge dry a few hours before you start messing. I'm going to let it dry a couple hours before I start messing with it again. That way this is secured. That flap's on. Come back, get a nice straight line. We'll razor knife, we'll cut it, or X-Acto knife. Get those seams to butt up, and then we'll work with it from there. So, but you can see it. It is smooth, baby, smooth. This fabric is not thick at all. So if you end up getting thicker stuff, it's not gonna work. I ended up ordering some thicker stuff off of Etsy, and I couldn't use it. So. But there's that. We'll come back for the next step. We will cut the seam and probably get the top and the bottom cut too. So I'll see you back here in a little bit. Don't forget to clean out your brush. Alright, we're back. Kind of sped the process up just a little bit. I used the heat gun to get this first layer of glue a little more set so we can use a straight edge. I'm going to mark this line down with a pen, with an ink pen, and then go back with a fresh razor knife and see if we can get that seam nice and cut and pulled away and all that. So if you have a ruler, that's great. Ruler probably gonna work better. We couldn't find it. Kids are sleeping, so wasn't gonna go in there and bother the kids. So what I have is my little sawhorse. I'm just inside that seam there, and it looks like I'm straight down. So literally, I just want to carefully just get a nice little straight line. Oh my God. I think you can see it everywhere except kind of that black area. Let me see if I can get a little more ink on there. I can see it going, but obviously green on black. Black's gonna win. So, alright, so let's do that. So now, like I said, fresh blade. I'm gonna take that one out. Get a fresh one from back here. Very careful with these knives and stuff, y'all. So I'm gonna get a little bit more. Let me see if I can still sit down and do it. Let me turn the flash on for you. See if that helps a little bit. It's getting a little darker. Now I'll just turn the exposure up a little bit. But I had the flash on from the beginning, but it's alright. I think we'll be in the flash. So let's get this baby cut down. See if we can be nice and careful. Make sure that's lodged in there good. And I'm not going to cut through on my first try. Literally, I'm going through. I just want to kind of score it, because I'm going through this layer and the one below it. So we'll peel this, and then we'll get that other piece, get that out of there, and then butt it up together. go again. A little more pressure this time, just a little bit more. Hold that cup nice and steady. Alright, let's go one more time and see if we got through. So let's see. Here's a good test is to be able to go in here to the middle. Remember we stuck it down a little bit. That's alright. If the other one wants to try to come with it, we'll just leave that one down. I'm just going to put more Mod Podge on that. There and that I'm going to just cut with my knife and scissors rather. Alright, so we got that, and there's a little piece under there, so I'm wondering if I can. I'm going to peel that back so I can get this little piece, this little flap from underneath. It's something I didn't do last time, but see that little extra, that's our excess underneath there. That way we can get it to lay down nice and smooth. So alright, so we got that exposed. Now we only have one layer of fabric. So more Mod Podge. Nice, generous. Remember, it's just water and adhesive, so the excess will dry. Swipe off the excess there. Glue that down. See if I can get that to come together a little bit more. So looks like I want to try to pull this one. It's got a little give to it. Too frayed up. Cut it. I don't want you to rip. pull just a little bit more. Trying to get that little bit of extra give. Fray right there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Like I said, we're not trying to get it to line up super perfect. If we would have done that, we could have, you know, leave more over and then cut it. But that is one layer, nice and smooth. Not worried too much about this down here because I know I'm going to be putting some glitter on there. So, now what I want to do is, let me go put this in some water. Give me just a momento. If I rinse that brush out now, there's a better chance that I won't forget later. So, I don't have one of those fancy schmancy fabric cutters. So, here's what I did last time. Fresh blade, again. Be super careful with it. I'm literally going to have it sitting on the table like this. There's my little guide. See, I'm going to go all the way around like that. So, let me see. Literally, I'm going to hold this down with my hand. Put it right up against there. And just slowly turn it until we go around a few times. And get it cut through. And literally. If you had one of those cutters, you know, you'd be done nice and simple. But I did this last time because I didn't have one, and it worked out good. Again, blade's very sharp, so if you're doing it like this, just be super freaking careful, or get you a cutter where you don't have to worry about that. But we're gonna do it with what we have here. So. I think I try to go around like 4 or 5 times because I don't want to push too hard and slip and hit that blade. But you can kind of hear it. Once you start hearing kind of like that metal sound, that means you are probably going through. So let's see. Let's see if we did anything. See? Just like that. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Get rid of all your little excess. So what you could do is, if you didn't, I have stuff going on the bottom here, but if you didn't, this is where you would tape off just a little bit below. That way you can actually seal the fabric in. So I'm totally happy with that. So now what we will do is, I need to do the top. Tuck this in so it'll spin, right? Yes. Tuck that in, hang over a little bit, being very careful. Times I'm starting to hear it like it's kind of, it means I think I'm getting to the middle. Alright, let's see what we got, y'all. Not yet. Alright, so let's put that back down. Go over it again. Tuck the fabric back under there. Don't want to cut through more than we have to. Let's see what we got here. A little bit of action. Let's get this cut. See if it helps with peeling that off. Got time for a new pair of whiskers. Really good scissors. Freaking perfect, y'all. Again, if you got, so go along, push off anything like that, you get the nice happy stuff to come off. Whatever doesn't come off like that, use your knife or X-Acto to get off, because if not, see how that one's not coming off, cut them. Use our fresh blade, get right up next to it. A little bit of sawing action and just cut that. Excess Mod Podge, will go back with some alcohol and clean that up. But I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like I might have cut just a tad short there, but you know what? I know for a fact I'm coming up at least a third of this, and then what I'll do is I'll put a decal on that side. So next time I just won't take off the piece underneath. So, but I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, literally, this is my second time doing a fabric cup. So there was a few people that were asking how to do it. I didn't take any kind of video or anything the first time because it was my first, so I was a little nervous. But go back to the bottom, clean up any of that mess. Spin that blade around. And those small little pieces, folks. I mean, I'm getting all those the heck out of there. Because we are ready for the next step, which is going to be what am I going to do? I don't need to tape off the bottom because I am doing something on the bottom. So what we'll do is tape off the top, and then we'll put more Mod Podge. So now, so we put this on with one layer of Mod Podge. Literally, we're going to cover this now. We're going to seal it with 4 layers, 4 to 5. We'll shoot for 5, 4 good layers, but let's go possibly 5. Not super goopy layers. We'll do some nice even layers. Let them dry half an hour in between before you do another coat. Don't want to do a coat to have it still wet and then go back and do another coat. So I'm going to leave it here nice and toasty in the garage. I'm just going to clean up a little bit more, get this taped off, and then we'll do a layer of Mod Podge on here with you. And then we will come back for another step after that. You can use your knife. Actually, that cleans up the excess Mod Podge really well. Really well, actually. Let's do that. Get all that excess gone there. A couple little straggler pieces. Alright, nice and clean. Let's check the bottom again. There's a little something there I want to get rid of. No frays. I'm going to get rid of all the frays. Now, if you're not going to do something on the bottom, unlike I am, you could tape this off just before, well, I'm sorry, it'd be just after the fabric. Tape off there, all around, masking, vinyl, E-tape, whatever's going to be easier for you. And then that way you can seal all this and not have to epoxy or anything with this one. This one we are going to get a little bit more of this Mod Podge off. Let me get my E-tape and I'll be right back. That is the only thing that I forgot to grab was my E-tape. So I'm going to get my football back in there. 1 second, I'm going to pause you. All right, I'm back, way back. All right. Sorry, cleaning up Mod Podge that I could be doing later. So, regular vinyl E-tape, Dollar Tree, 2 rolls for $1. We buy, I don't know, 10 rolls at a time. Keep your stuff nice and clear. Top on the Mod Podge. And what am I looking for? I had a broom somewhere. Where'd it go? Who knows? The craft room. Oh, yeah, the fabric swallowed up. It was sitting under the fabric. I just like to clean up my little area real quick. I'm a cleaner as I goer. If I get too scattered, I get anxiety. Just want to get this shit out of the way. Stuff. Okay, so E-tape, literally, we're gonna go, actually let me see, with the Mod Podge, because I know we're gonna seal with the epoxy, but you know what, let's go the same way. I'm just gonna leave a little bit of silver showing. Little bit of the silver showing, just the slightest bit. The way you can get that fabric sealed in. Make yourself nice and easy. Little tab, fold it half down, the other half down. Gives you a nice little pull tab. I'm just a stickler like that. And I don't have to do the bottom. So, get my Mod Podge brush again. If I'd have thought it was gonna not get tacky on me, I would have just left it out. But of course, you end up doing something else and totally forgetting about that. So literally, make sure all your hairs and all that are gone. I don't see anything on here except for lovely fabric. So, not worried about the bottom. Getting the whole face in this fabric. cover it with Mod Podge. Nice even layers, thick coverage, but we want it even. Like I said, we're gonna do several coats. Make sure you're getting on the inside there. See how you're getting out at the bottom. But we still want to thin it out. We don't want it goopy. We don't want it too thick, and we don't want it stripy. So you want to smooth it all out. And that looks good. That looks good there. Time to grab some more. Grab some more Mod Podge. Might be enough to do the rest of that. Nice thin coats. If I have too much on there, I'll just take it and swoop it back in the tub. You're more than welcome to do the same. But you want to cover this tumbler top and bottom. You want to seal that fabric in really well. Minimum 4, 5 is good. Those edges really well. When it starts feeling kind of streaky or whatever, that means it's drying. So don't put too much more on there. Just let that first initial layer dry. I'm gonna leave it out here in the garage, like I said, where it's nice and toasty. I'm gonna keep my little fan on. If you have a fan, that's a good thing. You can probably keep a little fan on it and do another layer in 30 minutes or so. I broke our little fan that was here in the garage, so I need to get another one. So what I will do is just let this sit for, it's late now, so I'll just let it sit till tomorrow, and then we'll come back and we'll put on some more coats. But that's good there, y'all. You see it, just a nice thin layer. Any of those little gloopy pieces of Mod Podge, get that crap off of your cup. It's just glue, so just pick it off. You'll know when that baby's nice and dry, when it's super clear. And this is gloss Mod Podge. I'm pretty sure you could use any kind, but we're using gloss. So there's that nice little layer on there with our Mod Podge brush. I'm gonna let this dry for an hour and a half or so, and then I will come back and do another coat. Let that dry, another coat, so on and so forth. So I may not bring you back for all 4 coats, because that's a little, seems like it could be a little redundant, but 4 to 5 coats, guys. Nice generous coats. Let them dry in between, though. You don't want to do another layer with one layer that's not dry. So let it sit and dry for a few hours if you need be. Put a fan on it. Heat gun, maybe not, because usually when you're doing these, you don't want to be in a rush anyway. So let them air dry with the fan, and you'll get some good results. So I will see you back for either another layer of Mod Podge or our first initial layer of resin. So, but I think I'll bring you back for one more Mod Podge just to let you see how it looks, and then after that we'll get you some resin on there. So far so good, loving it. Check out the rim, it's taped off, a little bit of gap. That way we can seal in the fabric. If you were not going to do anything covering the bottom, you would tape this off as well, leave a little gap, go around, tape the whole thing, Mod Podge as normal, and let it dry. So that's where we are. Don't forget to put your Mod Podge brush in the water so you don't waste that useful little brush. And I'll see you back in a little bit for another coat. Alright y'all, we're back. As promised, I have done 3 coats without you here. So, like I said, I'm going to do 5. So here is going to be my final coat of Mod Podge on this 30-ounce skinny fabric tumbler, Egyptian style. Get my little Mod Podge brush. Once you get a couple layers on here, you'll notice that it takes you less to go around and coat it. Just remember, these layers do not need to be thick. We just want to do a 4 to 5 nice, even, smooth layers of Mod Podge. If you have gloss, that's fine. If you got matte, I'm pretty sure that's fine too. Because remember, the resin is going to make it nice and glossy anyway. I just like using glossy because it's nice and shiny after you get done applying the sealer, so it looks better in my eyes. Looks closer to what it's going to be when you get done with it. But yes, 5 coats on this baby. She's nice and sturdy, nothing's coming up. I don't see any air pockets or anything like that. Contemplated on what I was going to do with the bottom, but I think I'm going to still leave it uncovered, and then I'll show you when we do the initial resin coat what I'm going to do for the bottom. So I'm not worried about that. I think that is all good and smooth as I'm going to get it. See, it's starting to get a little more clear, so it's starting to dry up on me. And like I said, I'm here in my garage. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably 90 degrees in here. Lets it cure much quicker, but I won't touch this thing until tomorrow around 2 o'clock. I'm going to let this fully dry for 24 hours. It's 2 in the afternoon now, so 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. I'm going to come back and we're going to put our first coat of resin and add some bling to it. So be ready for that. But here she is. She'll be ready for her epoxy bath tomorrow. Thanks for being so patient and sticking in there. Only got a few more steps, y'all. We'll be all done. Alright. Don't forget to put your Mod Podge brush back away so you can clean it. She's gonna be pretty when we're done. Alright guys, we're back and almost done with this fabric cup. I think a couple layers of epoxy and we'll be all done with this. But this is the first layer. I mixed 15 mLs of resin, 7.5 A, 7.5 B, to do the initial coat. You may be able to do it with a little less since it's already smooth, but I got some glitter I want to add on there, so get it to lay nice and flat. Not sure what happened there, but back with the initial resin coat. I think my phone was updating and it just decided to close the app out right as it was recording. Using Full Rizzle UV Plus that I get from Glitter for All. It's nice and thick, covers well. It's definitely one of the only resins that we've used that you can do a coat of resin that's maybe 10 to 15 mLs on the tumbler, and it'll actually like self-level and cover really well because it's nice and thick. Everything else it seems out there is a little thinner. Way if it's too thin, you hit it with heat, you'll end up needing another coat. If it's nice and thicker, I've got great coverage with this resin. Alright, let's get her spinning. Let's go that way. It'll help us pull the tape. I just want to make sure I got the seams all covered up good, where the tape line is. And just make sure we got a nice even coverage over the fabric. If you were just covering the fabric itself, I think this 15 will cover it pretty well. I like doing 2 just to lock it in, secure it really, really well. But this will definitely help me with my chunky glitter application, which we're about to get to here in a sec. I'm gonna put just a little heat on it. Yeah, it's nice and glassy already. Love it. I'm gonna dress it up and add some bling to it. Put a little bit of heat on it. Alright, so now what I wanted to do with this, since it's, we think of what I think of Egypt and Egyptian times and the kings and pharaohs and queens and so on and so forth. I think a nice and royal kind of bling and stuff like that. So what I did was I took a holographic gold mix that we have and a chunky blue, royal blue mix that we have, mixed those two together, and I got this here out of the mix. So I'm gonna apply that. I know I'm covering up some of the cup per se, but remember it's just a tumbler, so just for design's sake and for what's the word, demonstrational purposes. This isn't anybody's order or anything. This is just us showing the technique, having a little fun with it, seeing new pretty colors. So that's what I'm gonna do, is that little area there, then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit so it kind of just fades up into it a little bit towards the top as well. Got my wax paper here. Trying to get some of the fine glitter down there too. Mix it up with my Scissors just happen to be sitting here. Kind of give it a little faded look there. It helps with the fine glitter sticking around where it's kind of dusty. I like that. I really like that. Alright, so I'm going to put my little mix back in the cup. I'm going to go over this area again just in case, you know, some more needs to stick where that resin is. But, I mean, honestly, it's looking pretty good. Just put a little bit more bling. Love the bling. Then we'll pull the tape, and next time you'll see us, we will be covering, we will be putting a vinyl decal on the top part, and we will be covering it with more resin. Here's where we can get it more of a little sprinkle. Don't mind if we go up a little more on it. Feeling that, y'all. I am digging that really much so. So now that we've got that on, happy with the application on that, and I'm gonna get rid of this tape. And I'll show you my last little trick to get a nice clean edge when you're doing that. Obviously with the chunkies, it's going to be easiest just to, like you see, you got a couple little stragglers there. Just get some tweezers or something and push them back. And little stragglers there, so let's push them back. Everybody else looks like they may be falling in line. I'm okay with that. And that way the next one, what I'll do is tape just a little bit past that, and then we'll seal all that glitter in. And let's check up here. And we'll have a little line where I take the tape off, but it's not there. So good stuff. Happy stuff. We will see you back on the next round when we add a vinyl decal and cover up this bad boy. Thanks for tuning in.